What's up, you beautiful person? It's your boy Micah, and I'm glad you're here for what is, I guess, another kitchen talk. There's a lot that I really want to talk about in this video in regards to mental health, my mental health, kind of my timeline of my mental health, as well as what I've been doing now to really take care of my mental health and really work on myself and just share some things, and hopefully you can get something out of this video, because ultimately that's why I share these things, right? This is a beautiful way, in my opinion, to share, to build community, to help others out there who might be experiencing similar situations as me, and maybe my perspective can help you out there. And this can be super therapeutic for me, honestly, to just sit down and talk. Right now, I'm really struggling with this camera angle, and I really don't want to sit here because I'm on a stool, and so my back is kind of like, I'm kind of hunched over. So I think that we'll move this kitchen talk. See, there's a stool. I think we're gonna move this kitchen talk to the living room, which is also a part of the kitchen, and we'll just set that like that, and I can just sit on the couch and be a little bit more comfortable, and we can have a more real conversation. I can't tell you how many times I have tried to film this video, and I think it's because I haven't been trying to say too much and not go too personal or too deep. But I think it's so important that I just do. And I hope that in this video I can help you if you're out there struggling with your mental health and need somebody's perspective who's going through it but is getting through it, to help you, if that makes sense. So I'm just going to keep it raw and uncut, I guess. Can we take a moment though to appreciate that tree? Damaris and I have always been big on putting up a tree, and for the last 2 years we didn't have a place to do that. And so it was a kind of sweet moment that just meant so much for us to be able to put that tree together. And maybe it don't look like much to you guys, but it means a heck of a lot to us. So let's go ahead and enjoy that for a couple seconds. All right. Good. Okay. So I've always been someone who never really wanted to talk about how I've been struggling, and I've always was someone to just try to deal with things on my own, whether that was like self-medicating with substances and alcohol, or eventually I did seek therapy and all these things. When I was younger, I struggled with depression, and even got to a point where I tried to self-delete myself a couple of times there. And I've also was misdiagnosed with bipolar disorder when I was a younger teenager, probably like 18, 19 years old. And a few years back, I was correctly diagnosed with ADHD. Apparently there's a lot of overlap, and it's very common for them to be misdiagnosed. But anyway, I've always kind of struggled with some form of mental health, and I think most of us struggle in some way, right? We have seasons in our life where you're either going through a season of depression, or anxiety, or we all are. I think most people have been through something in their mind that has been difficult to handle, some more than others. And I think when it's a chronic issue, I guess that's when it becomes a mental health issue or something. I really don't know the science behind it. These are just my thoughts. But I've always just been someone to just kind of figure it out. I compartmentalize for the most part really well. I've always tried to be someone that other people can depend on and rely on and feel safe with, and that will take care of them. And part of it, if I'm being honest, is just, it's my heart. And I think another part of it is it's much easier to focus on other people and helping other people and giving something to somebody else than to focus on your own internal struggle, right? And I've just always tried to deal with it on my own. And there was times where I didn't deal with it appropriately, obviously, or maybe the best way. And back in 2020, when the pandemic started or happened, if I don't even know if what to call it anymore, right? But when that happened, it was the first time I had ever dealt with anxiety and the first time I had ever had a panic attack because I had never had a panic attack prior to that. I, like I said, I have ADHD. I have PTSD and a few other things, I guess. But I, again, I've just always been someone, I guess, in my mind of like, I'm just gonna compartmentalize. I'll deal with it. Keep moving. It's not a big deal. Like I kind of like dismiss myself. So when the pandemic happened and I started experiencing panic attacks and anxiety, I was working in the healthcare field at the time, so I saw a lot of crazy stuff, a lot of death, a lot of just a lot of things that kind of sticks with you. I winded up going to my doctor at the time and getting prescribed some medication that did not go well with me. I winded up losing a lot of weight in like 4 days. Couldn't eat anything. I was like surviving on inshores and water, vomiting constantly, then finally just rash all over my face and neck until I stopped taking the medication. And that kind of turned me off to medication because I was scared at that point. Like, I don't want to be taking all this medication. Like, I'll just deal with the anxiety. Like, it is what it is. And over the last 2 years of all the loss and death and struggles and just trauma, the anxiety kind of started kicking up again. And, I'm grateful that I have a way better support system now than I ever have. I have a lot of amazing people in my life who I love and I'm so grateful to have in my life who support me. And it feels good to know that there are people out there that will support me the same way that I support them. But, there was just this fear of trying something else. So over the last 2 years, it's just kind of gotten out of control to the point where, I mean, literally, I would have panic attacks while driving, almost pass out. I've passed out before from just the adrenaline rush. Just a lot of not so good feelings, like my chest hurts, or like feels like I can't breathe, or my chest is tight, or my heart is racing or fluttering, and it was just too much. I could deal with it when it were just thoughts in my head, but when it started becoming this like overwhelming physical sensation, it's like it was hard. It's been hard to deal with. And over the last few months, well, actually a year ago, I had taken a test to, it's called GeneSight. It's supposed to like kind of look at your genes and see like what kind of medications would work for certain things and all that type of thing. And I was supposed to go back for an appointment and start taking medications based off of this test. And I just did it because, again, I had like this anxiety about taking medications after that poor experience that I had. And I just didn't do it. And so, the last couple months, it started kind of revving up again, and decided to make an appointment. Got an appointment about 3 weeks ago and started this new medication. And I can't really say specifically if it's helping yet or not. This has been like a pretty rough last 2 weeks with just like life stressors, right? Like financial stresses. I have a test coming up next week that I'm kind of stressed about because I'm struggling with reading and paying attention. ADHD doesn't help with that. So, yeah, I went to my doctor and I said, look, I'm struggling with leaving my house. I'm struggling with going to work. I'm constantly anxious. I have a good support system in place. I have these things that really do help me stay okay, but I'm still really struggling, and it's hard to admit when you're struggling. And I guess because for me, it just felt like if I admit that I'm struggling, like I'm failing. I guess there's a pride or shame that's attached to admitting when you need help or that you can't figure it out on your own. And I've always just been someone who figures everything out on my own. And it was really hard for me to admit to my family and my support system and my doctor that like I'm struggling and I need help. And so I'm very good at smiling and helping others and just again compartmentalizing and pushing things away. But at the same time, you know, you can only do that for so long before it you can't. So started this new medication. I'm supposed to be taking like 3 medications, one for the morning, one for the night. The nighttime one is just a big ass pill, and I just can't seem to take it. So I'm hoping to, on my follow up, to get it switched to a tablet because for some reason I'm struggling to take this capsule, and so I've only been taking the one in the morning, and then I have one that's like a fast acting. Like if I'm having a panic attack, I can take it, and that should like calm everything down. And so I can't. It's hard to say if this pill that I have been taking for the mornings, if it's like really like working or not. I know it could take up to 6 weeks to fully feel the effects of it. And it's like I said, it's just been a stressful couple of weeks with like work and school and bills and car problems, and it's just like my life is usually pretty chaotic, so it's hard to tell if it's really doing its thing or like it's just been too much stress that it's like I need something else. Like I don't know, but I'm hopeful. And I guess the point that I'm really trying to make in this video is, you know, you can try, you can reach out, you can tell people that you need help, talk to your doctor, talk to somebody if you're struggling with your mental health. It's so important to take care of yourself because you truly can't take care of other people if you're not taking care of yourself first. It doesn't make you a failure. It doesn't make you bad. It doesn't make you less than to admit that you need help and to get some help. And you know, the reality is I got ADHD, okay? And that's really the root of, from what my therapist says, it's really the root of my anxiety. Is because I'm unmedicated for the ADHD, and that's probably the root on top of all the other things that have, you know, like situational and circumstantial and outward things that have happened in my life that have really compounded the anxiety. But my doctor and I, when we had our discussion, you know, I just told him it was very important to me to get the physical feelings of anxiety under control first, because I can't, like I need to get that under control. I can't function. And so that's why we're kind of going down the road that we're going, is trying to get this under control and then potentially adding something else for the ADHD. I personally am not going to be taking any stimulants because I have a history of substance abuse, and I don't want to take anything that would get me. I just don't want to take any of that stuff. So we've talked about that, and so we're looking into other options. But I just wanted to make this again because I think it's important for us to just be honest with each other. And I know that there are a number of you out there who support me and also who look up to me. And I think it's important to be honest in that, you know, I got a lot of things that go right in my life, and I got a lot of things that go wrong in my life. You know, there's a lot of things I know and there's a lot of things I don't know. And there's also, you know, I struggle with a lot just like anybody else because we're all human. And, you know, I think it's just important to share that if you need help out there, talk to your doctor, talk to your therapist, talk to somebody that can give you tools. And so for me, I have my tools, I have my tapping, I have my prayer, I have a lot of different tools that help me manage my anxiety and help me manage my emotions and my mental well-being. But there's just some things that for me, I feel like I needed something that could physically help me, because that's the part that I'm struggling with, is that the physical sensations and everything like that. So yeah, I guess if you have any questions, comments, concerns, let me know down in the comments, and we'll talk again real soon. I love you guys. Take good care of yourself. God bless you always. Peace.